Okay, we are live.
Great. So let's just start with question number 1.
Okay.
How does your self-concept influence the way you communicate with others and act in interpersonal relationships?
One second. I think like personally, if you're thinking about how you are or how the other person is perceiving you,
Exactly.
right, rather than thinking about what they're saying, I find myself doing that a lot.
Yeah, and I think if you're concerned with yourself and if you're thinking about yourself and your discomfort, then you're not so able to consider what they need from you.
Yeah.
And what you need to say for their benefit.
Yes. Or yeah, it's a I don't think it's intentional, but it allows us to be a little bit more self-centered than we want to be.
For sure.
Yeah. All right.
Number 2, the video was about a young man, and I don't remember his name, but he was very overweight, and he said he got inspired.
Mm-hmm.
And so he started to run, and I can imagine it was very difficult. I could never run at this point in my life, but he started to run, and he continued to run, and he continued to lose weight. And it says, it's not, on the paper it says it's not about weight and it's not about running. It was really about his self-image and what he wanted for himself. And I think that that's something that's important for each of us. That is, our self-image gives us confidence or not. And then he evidently found that confidence. I don't even remember what his inspiration was, but I remember that he had enough confidence to start, and then he had enough confidence to continue. And I think that's true for all of us. If we, this whole thing about knowing who you are gives you the confidence that you need.
Yes. And not trying to be somebody that you aren't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not giving up on yourself either, because it is easy to just say I am what I am, but that's just, to me, that's just a cop-out.
There's a trend right now that I really enjoy on social media where people that own fitness accounts, they're showing you a photo of what they post to show the body as opposed to how they look normally.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little bit more inspiring sometimes than seeing the picture of them looking perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes along really well with this. And people are, like, the society is realizing that we want people to be real. We don't always necessarily want to idolize perfect people because it's almost more discouraging.
Absolutely. And society has the idea that if you are overweight, that is a sign of a lack of discipline. And in my case, it absolutely is. But that's not necessarily true. And people who have body differences aren't necessarily less intelligent or less determined. They just haven't reached that point of inspiration yet.
Yeah.
So I think we shouldn't downplay each other especially because of the way we look.
Yeah.
Hence, Elder President Uchtdorf's ugly duckling story. Weren't those precious? I love those stories.
I was crying. Yes. My husband said, "What are you watching?" I'm like, oh, he's like, "What?" But seriously, the way Uchtdorf presented it, that made it so different. We've all heard that story.
Yeah.
But I guess the intention is that you relate to it, but I never had until he said it the way he did. Isn't that? And how often have we heard that story in our lives?
I know. I know. And, you know, I found this real connection with Sister Dew's thing, that her missed opportunity. I turned 60 this year, and I have not as yet had the opportunity to go to school, but here I am.
Right.
So, you know, you just learn and you grow and you get your confidence, and the whole reason why it happened for me is because I learned to rely on the Lord.
Mhm.
And that's where my strength comes from.
Yes.
And so, you know, it gets you through everything.
How lucky are we that we have that, though?
Right.
Yeah. Were you a member, or are you a convert?
My parents joined when I was 2, so I was raised in the church.
Okay, I was converted in 2013.
Oh, fun.
Right, it's not too new. I feel like I'm a big part of it, but it's really fun to have that worldly background, just because I can see the comparison so much better than I think sometimes my husband does, because he grew up in the church.
Mm-hmm.
It's I wish I'd grown up in the church for so many reasons, but at the same time,
Right.
a lot I am able to appreciate it being there, you know.
Absolutely. You can really feel the difference.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay. In one of the great themes of the gospel is change. Who you are now is not who you have to be in the future. That's encouraging. I like that. If there are things about yourself that you do not like, what sorts of things can you do to change them?
Oh, I love that. Have you ever seen there's a talk given by somebody who he used to be in the military, but I think he gave the talk at one of the colleges, and he just said that the first thing you should always do is make your bed.
Oh my gosh, that is so inspiring. I love that. He tells about, he's a Navy SEAL.
Yes, that one. Okay.
Oh, we've both seen it. That's cool.
Yes.
It is so inspiring. I love that. And now I make my bed every day.
It's incredible. My husband, I'm always like, get your stuff off now. I have to make it. He's like, we're leaving. I'm like, no, I need to make the bed. It changes your day. And I just brought that up because it's something so small, right? And
I know it's your first building block
yes,
for your day. And I can remember when my kids were little, I used to clean my bathroom every day. Who does that? I was a nut. But anyway, the reason why I cleaned the bathroom in the morning, because it was the quickest thing that I could complete.
yes.
And it started my day. It got me rolling.
Yeah.
So it was really, really important.
And
So what kinds of things, I think my biggest medium for change, I gotta get rid of that, is making a plan.
Yeah.
I'm pretty goal oriented.
Okay. Yes. I feel the same. I think sometimes I like to bite off a little bit more than I can chew. And so I have to, yes.
This is my first semester, and I definitely did. I had to drop psychology because it was just too much. Yeah. So now,
a lot of terms, right?
What's that?
I'm taking psychology, and I just feel like there's a lot of terms to remember. Yes.
I just couldn't do it. And the reason why I did that was because I've looked forward to this all my life, and I dropped psych because I want this to be a pleasant experience. I don't want this to be overwhelming or anxiety inducing. So I just dropped psychology. I have the rest of my academic career to get it. So I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah, there you go. And I think it's really easy to, like getting a degree, it's really easy to let yourself get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Not everybody will drop a class. You know, there's some stubbornness. You have to do it now and complete it. And sometimes I feel myself being that way.
Mm-hmm.
I love my house to be clean. I love cleaning and organizing, and it's a mess right now. And I told my husband, I'm like, I can't do it all. And it's really hard. And I think as women, it's really hard for us to accept that. And
Yes.
I was like, oh no, when we get married, we just got married in June. I'm very excited if you can't tell. I keep mentioning it every second. But I thought, yeah, I'm going to be back in school. I'm going to clean. I'm going to cook. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's hard. And I think that, yeah, it can feel a little bit defeating.
Yep.
But it's just reality, right?
Exactly. And there's no problem with adjusting your goals.
Yeah.
It was too much for me. I have more than one role in my life. My elderly mom lives with us.
Oh.
So I help her a little bit, but the main thing I do is drive her.
And that's time. That is time.
It's a lot of time. And I can't just stay in the office all day and night. I want to be home. I have to cook dinner before my husband gets home. And so I just made the choice. I just made the choice. But I'm still learning, and I'm still progressing. So I'll get to psychology later, or whatever it is that I need to do next.
I honestly forgot the question.
Change. What sorts of things can you do to change?
I feel like we answered this one. What do you think?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. In Moses 1:1-13, notice how God addresses Moses. In contrast, notice how Satan addresses Moses. And I assume you didn't read this part?
Yeah, I think I missed something.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I feel like I missed a page in the communication, because I watched all the videos and I looked at the I apologize. I totally must have scanned over this.
It's okay. Well, I will just tell you briefly. This is where Moses talks with God face to face in a high mountain.
Moses is my favorite, by the way, throwing it out there.
Oh, cool. We know he talked with God face to face, and the Lord tells him, I'm going to show you my handiwork, but I can't show it all to you, and I'm going to show you my glory, but I can't show it all to you. You can't bear all that. And he says, Moses, my son. And he calls him his son. I have a work for you to do. And we know what that was, helping Israel. And then the Lord leaves, and after hours of recovery, Satan comes along, and he tells Moses, son of man, son with a small s.
Okay.
So the difference is the Lord looks at him as a son of God, and Satan is trying to minimize who he is. And so so the question is, why did they each address him in that manner?
Because God likes to build us up and Satan likes to tear us down.
Exactly. Absolutely. And so I think when we have negative thoughts, we have to remember, oh, this can't be the Lord. Oh, golly, I can pull this up.
I was going to say, Moses is my favorite because I'm adopted.
You're adopted?
Yeah, I didn't get to finish that sentence. Yes, I'm adopted, he's adopted. And when I was discovering the church, I feel a little bit like adoption's hard. Being adopted can be hard. And so I read about Moses and I was like, yes, he's the best, he's adopted. And I feel like it made me kind of like this. It made me feel stronger,
Yeah, it's makes it a positive experience rather than one that is negative and makes you doubt yourself.
And when you're in the church, there's and it's great. I mean, it's how it should be, but you're surrounded by so many people who grew up in these lovely Mormon families. So when you come in and you're hearing about, when you're not starting your own family and you're hearing about how families should be, and it can be kind of, it can make you feel like an outsider. So seeing that, right? That's someone, and his adopted family wasn't that great. So it it's just nice to know that it doesn't, even if your things out of your control don't work out for you, you can still make it work out, you know? I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not, if our worldly family is a little less than it could be, we
Hmm.
always can remember that we are children of God.
Yes. And it makes you feel powerful. I like that.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read DNC 88:33. For what doth it profit a man if a gift is bestowed upon him, and he receiveth not the gift? Behold, he rejoices not in that which is given unto him, neither rejoices in him who is the giver of the gift.
Okay.
So I think what this is referring to is that the Lord has a lot of things to give us. And if we don't accept them with a positive attitude and with gratitude to him and for him, then that gift means nothing in our life. It's not going to enhance our life at all or bless our life.
Yeah. Like if you're not praying and reading the scriptures, those gifts are going to be there, but you're not seeing them. You're not doing anything.
So the next thing is share one of your gifts.
Oh, is that part of it? Oh, it is.
That's number 6.
Um, is this like a blessing from the Lord that you've received, or like a personal, you know, like in the
I'd say one of your gifts or talents.
okay. Why don't you go first?
um, I think that the greatest gift, and that's where this self-concept thing has helped me to refocus on the fact that the greatest gift I have is my knowledge of the Lord and my knowledge of and my understanding of the atonement. Because as I came to understand the atonement, my husband, I told him, I said, you know, the atonement is more than just about sin. It's about the help that Jesus Christ offers us because he knows us and he knows what we need. And I said, that's what the grace is. That's where grace comes in. And he said, I never thought of it that way, but that's what it is. That grace is those little helps that we get, those little, you know, sometimes you'll be struggling with something and all of a sudden, oh, it's coming along and you're so happy. And I know, I just know it's from the Lord. And so I think that's my greatest gift in life is to know that the Savior's there with me and helping me.
That is awesome. Is your husband was he a member his whole life too, or is he a member, or is he his whole life?
We're from Ohio, and he is actually a fifth generation Mormon, which is very rare back there.
Okay.
But the missionaries had come through generations before in West Virginia, and his family, a few members of the family joined, and they had these huge families. His grandfather was one of 11 children.
Oh,
So the branch that I grew up in had all these Adkins people in it, and it was because, you know, this whole big family had joined the church. My parents were converts, but we grew up in the same branch.
Oh,
And he, yeah.
Were any of those 11 kids adopted, or were they all?
Oh, all from the same mama.
11? Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. That is crazy. We're talking about having I want to adopt. So we're talking about just me physically birthing 3, and I'm like 11. Oh, that's incredible.
Yes, it is.
I think one of the greatest gifts the Lord's given me, I'm I'm not always happy, but there's a lot of bad that's happened in my life. I used to be homeless. I was in foster care. There's just a lot of negativeness, and I get down, but for the most part, I try to remain positive and try to see the silver lining.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to help other people to see that silver lining.
Oh yeah, you've
Right?
got it. It's a definite gift. When you want to share what you have with someone else, you really have it.
Yeah.
You really do. That's awesome.
I used to go around to shelters and to different organizations that help with foster and homeless youth, and I used to share my story just to either inspire someone to help or inspire those going through it.
Is that what brought you to Marriage and Family?
I think so. Yeah, I want to be a teacher. I love the 4 and 5 year olds. Um, And I've talked with my husband. The shelter that I used to be at, they have an on-site kindergarten. So eventually, I would love. Can you imagine if I got to go back to the shelter that I was from, and I get to be a teacher there? That would,
Right,
it pays nothing, but
right, right.
do it, right? That's not why you do what you do.
No, it isn't. No,
So
it isn't.
that's the biggest.
What brought me to that was that my sister-in-law, my husband's twin, is
Oh,
mentally disabled and mentally ill.
okay.
And we have been her guardians for 10 years and
Wow.
just tried to meet the needs of her illness. And it's just been so hard. And I know that there are a lot of families with children that have disabilities or just difficult situations. And that's where I want to go with this. I want to be a family life educator.
Love it. Have you had to look up like different organizations around you yet?
Yeah, I did. And actually, I'm a master gardener, and that program is comes through the Iowa State Extension and Outreach Office, and they also do some family living education.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I know people in that office, and it's been fun to get questions answered by them.
Yeah, that's so amazing. Okay, let's see.
Number 7.
Yeah. Do you want me to read it?
Go ahead.
Okay. Did that make you uncomfortable? If so, why? Do those feelings serve the giver of the gifts? How can we best honor and express appreciation of the giver of the gifts?
You answered that perfectly with your
Oh,
sharing your experiences.
thanks.
That's the perfect answer to that, because he gives to us, and then it's our, you don't want to say job, it's our
Responsibility.
right. But
Yeah.
as a disciple of Christ, the more we do it, the more we become like him, and then the more natural that becomes.
Yeah.
I've been praying for charity.
Ew.
Well, good.
In the same way. Oh, sorry. I've been
Because
praying for like things that I can do, but I don't think that's what you mean.
yes, yes,
Oh, okay.
yes. It's that love that motivates you to go out and find the people that really need and the Lord just had that. His heart was full of love, and he just naturally saw people and saw the needs and took care of them. And I just want to do that. I want to be able to recognize those things. My youngest daughter, she is so in tune with other people's needs. It's amazing.
Love that. And that's
Really,
too. That's a total gift, right?
it really is.
I feel like that's something else that I try to do big, but really, I'm like, what organization can I help with, or what run can I do? But at the end of the day, it's just so like I'll tell my husband, I don't think I've done anything, and he's like, you just dropped off like brownies. You just did that. I'm like, oh, those were just brownies. And then you listen to talks at General Conference, and they're like, that's it. That's what it is. It is,
Yeah.
But it's so in a day-to-day, we're used to it being in the church. That's just normal. It doesn't even feel like charity. I guess it's a good thing, but when you look at it day to day, you feel like you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes my very sassy husband to tell me, like, no, you are. It's all of those little things. You don't have to go donate $1 million,
I think we think that way because we see the Savior's life as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the disciples And everybody that he served didn't see it as a whole. They saw it blessing by blessing, healing by healing. They saw it little by little.
Yeah.
And that's how it builds. That's how we build to become like Christ, is those brownies.
Those brownies. Okay.
Okay, number 8. Go ahead.
Okay. As a group, consider and discuss the following thought. For every eternal principle, Satan has a counterfeit. Satan wants all of us to believe that we are less than what we are. We were each sent here to do important work, and Satan wants desperately to take us out of the game. If we see ourselves as anything less than what we are, we will not strive to accomplish what we have been sent here to do. Among the Latter-day Saints, Satan has been particularly successful at convincing people that self-respect is the same as pride, and self-abasement is the same as humility. They are not the same. Yeah.
So what do you think is one of Satan's counterfeits?
I feel like he just works on all of us so differently, you know? Like my husband's very shy, and I feel like that's kind of how Satan works on him. And for me, I have to fight a lot of, not that I worry what people think, but I worry about if I have offended them. You know, I know if someone doesn't like me, they don't like me.
Right.
But if I feel like maybe I said something wrong and I hurt their feelings when I didn't, you know, or did I not smile at them? Did I make their day bad? And then I start working on that, you know,
Yeah, you repeat those conversations in your head?
Yes.
Many times I've done that.
He just works on us so differently.
Yeah, he does.
As I'm reading this, I'm like, that's where, like, I might not want to say something because I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. So it's almost like you know, I don't want to share my accomplishment because maybe they are working at that and they didn't do it, or, you know.
But, uh-oh, you froze.
No, are we good? Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
The thing is if we're sharing the accomplishment to be helpful and not toot our own horn,
Yeah.
then it is helpful to other people.
It's our intentions.
Yeah, it is. It's where your heart is. It really is.
Yeah. What about you? Does he, I mean, I guess that's not exactly what it's asking, but I can't help but, you know, make a personal statement about it to fully understand it.
Well, I have a lot longer life to look back over, and I see that in high school, I was in advanced math, advanced English, and advanced science. But I failed one of my math courses. I was a sophomore, by the way, and I was in with seniors.
Oh, yes.
The valedictorian and salutatorian, by the way. And I failed that. More than failed, I just basically dropped out of it rather than try, because I was constantly comparing myself with them. They were 2 years older.
Yeah.
I had a ways to go. If I couldn't get that, I had a couple years I could learn it. But I for many years, well into my adulthood, I thought that I was stupid in math until it finally occurred to me I was in advanced math. I wasn't stupid. I didn't have self-confidence. And that's Satan had me all those years thinking I was stupid.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. I'm not. And so anyway, that's where he's kind of tricked me.
Yeah. But it's so personal to each person, right?
It really is.
Yeah, he knows, it's scary. He knows you just like, I mean, not just like Heavenly Father, but he does know you. It's like that keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer thing.
Right.
Super close.
Be aware of what he's up to for sure. Okay, so the last thing is, how does knowing that you are a child of a loving Heavenly Father influence your sense of purpose, identity and worth?
I like this question more. This is great.
Yeah.
Sense of purpose. That's something so great in the church. They, like you were saying, to help yourself get things done, you have to plan. And I feel like the church gives you so many things to stick on that planner, like visiting teaching and Relief Society night. So he's given us the gospel, and we have to read our scriptures. And on Monday we have family home evening. He's given us all of this to make sure that we know who we are, and there's constant reminders, and we have a schedule, right? He's given us that.
I like that school is not just an academic or temporal pursuit. When I read those, had those readings this week, it was like, this is as good as sacrament meeting, It was very uplifting, and the spirit was strong. And I think this week I've come to know that my whole sense of who I am revolves around being a daughter of God. So, well, that is everything on there.
We did it.
You recorded it, so can you
Post it?
post it?
Okay, so I stopped the broadcast and it'll be on YouTube, and then I just post the link on from YouTube, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I think I've got this. Do you mind if I text you if I get confused?
No, I'm not sure I'll be able to help you with it, but I'll find answers if I can. That's the one thing, I don't always have the answers, but I will find them.
Okay, good. Okay, this is my first time being the one with the control to record it. So,
you do know that I'm group leader this week, but you're group leader next week.
And then I kind of like that there's two so far, because it's just back and forth. Let me know if anyone responds to an email.
No one has yet. I even used the emails. I used the emails given, and I used BYU emails, and I reached out to everyone on Hangouts and an email.
Wow.
So it's us.
Okay, cool. I'm okay. I have same thing in my math class. It's supposed to be a group of 3 or 4, and it's 2. So.
Well, that works.
It does work.
Makes it simpler.
It's like, oh, we'll just reschedule. Okay, we're good. Perfect. And then, we can text about next week. Does that sound good?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, Diana, nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too, Deidre.